Proceed.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome. It is Wednesday, June 1st, 2022, just after 10 a.m., and this is the regular weekly public business meeting of the Lincoln County Board of Commissioners. Commissioner Katie Jacobson has an excused absence today. Commissioner Doug Hunt is joining us remotely. Commissioner Hunt and I do constitute a quorum. First up, as we do traditionally on the first meeting of every month, we not only recognize employees, current employees for service milestones with the county of 5 years or more, but also welcome our new hires. We have one service anniversary today. Commissioner Christopher Miller with the Sheriff's Office is receiving his 5-year pin. And he's not present now, but Sheriff, unfortunately, the certificate hasn't been signed by anybody yet, but if you'd like to take him his service pin, we'd certainly appreciate that.
Thank you, Sheriff.
We've got, it looks like 7 new hires to welcome, and
Awesome.
Who's going to do that?
I am.
David, yes. Introduce yourself for the record and take it away.
David Collier, Human Resources Director for Lincoln County. Today, Chair Hall, I have the pleasure to introduce, actually reintroduce Lindsay Bolin. She's a health promotion specialist returning to us. Elizabeth Donner, who is a clinical counselor for, who also is returning. And Tiffany Gerber, who is a clinical counselor for. All 3 of those are with HHS. Thomas Lekas is a juvenile probation officer with Community Justice for Juvenile. Jennifer Sterling is a transit driver for transit. Andrew Blair is our new Assistant Public Works Director and County Engineer in the Public Works Department. And Byron Evans, transit driver with transit. And I don't know if any of them are online. No. So those are our new hires for this past month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate the presentation. And I was just passed a note. Yeah, we do not get past note passing even beyond school years. But the Lincoln County Jail, I understand, opened 30 years ago today. I recall that. Sheriff didn't have an opportunity to ask if you wanted to offer any remarks on this anniversary, or?
We are sort of preparing some social media stuff.
Okay, maybe give us a quick sneak preview.
Yeah. Good morning. For the record, Curtis Landers, Lincoln County Sheriff. Yeah, I didn't prepare anything, but I just wanted to pass it on. That was 30 years today that we opened the doors of the jail. And a lot of changes have happened over that 30 years since it's been open. Population's been up and down, obviously through a pandemic. Pretrial justice now. There's been a lot of changes that we have done over the years. With when the jail first opened, just to kind of give you, and I was here, I was working patrol during that time, but I remember watching the jail be built, and it used to be the library there when it first was there, and watch the jail be built. But when it first opened the door, the staffing was, we had had a sheriff at that point, we had an undersheriff, there was a captain in the jail, there was a lieutenant in the jail, we had 5 sergeants in the jail. And then the patrol side, and of course, we've over the years realized that that was a little top heavy, and really restructured to where there's no undersheriff now. We have 3 lieutenants and 3 sergeants in the jail, and then the 5 corporals. So which is a good working model for what we do. I forget how many corrections deputies, but that's even been significantly reduced. Obviously, we have our minimum security that has no deputy in it 24/7, like a lot of the other areas. It's monitored by video, and just a lot of the restructuring that's gone on was ideas from our deputies, and very good ones at that too. So yeah.
I remember the opening too. I was a young reporter who had only been here, about 4 or 5 years at the time, and although the effort came before my time. I recall there were 2 ballot measures presented to the voters to construct a new jail. At the time, we were only able to house what I believe 24 inmates.
26, yeah.
26 in one half of the top floor of this building. And even though there was a lot of urgency about getting a larger facility in place, that voters said no twice, but then I think it was 1990, they said no, yes, the 3rd time around, and that led to this facility that still serves us after 30 years, and I guess we'd expect for many more years to come.
I hope so. I mean, it's, I hope so. It's definitely takes a lot of wear and tear, and the maintenance facilities does a great job of keeping that up. But yeah, it's interesting, 26 beds to what we have now. And it's, I age myself, but when I talk about with all of our new hires, when they come through and talk, I talk about new jail and old jail.
Oh,
They kind
yeah.
of look at me funny, you know, and
Old
most
jail?
of them
What's
weren't
that?
even born
Yeah.
when the jail was built. So they've only know it as the old jail, but yeah. Yeah. So thank you
Yeah.
for recognizing that. So.
And yeah, there are fewer and fewer of us around that do remember that facility. I know one person until the day he retired. Well, of course, he saw the need for the facility. It was Judge Charles Littlehales, the late Judge Littlehales, who kind of groused about losing the ocean view from his office when the building went up.
Yeah, to the day he left, he was
Yep.
talking about his ocean view that he left and how he used to look out there. No one was a good day to leave the bench and go fishing. And
Aha,
yeah, it took away, and he remembered that all the way.
indeed. Commissioner Hunt, any comments or questions?
No questions. I think it's a great opportunity to acknowledge the support of the voters that were willing to pass the bond measure that led to the construction of the jail. And I believe, as the sheriff has noted, the management of the jail has evolved to match the times, and I believe that the citizens have been served well by the jail and the programs that really try to change the lives of those adults in custody so that they are in a position to be successful after their time in the jail. So good work.
Thank you, Sheriff. We move along to our 4th agenda item, which is adoption of the consent calendar. These are either routine items or things we've discussed at previous meetings, commissioners or staff. This is the time if you wish to remove or highlight any of these items.
I'll move for adoption of the consent calendar as presented.
Thank you, Commissioner Hunt. I will second that motion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Consent calendar is approved. We move on now to decision on the proposed order for the annual rate schedule for doll disposal service. We had a presentation last week, and if you have anything else you'd like to add today, or
No,
None?
I just missed not seeing Doug up at the front. This will be the first time he's not been here for this.
well,
I'm here in spirit.
we could call, yeah, he's here in spirit, or we can call him Flat Doug, kind of like Flat Stanley. All right, any further comments or questions on this agenda item, Commissioner Hunt?
No, I'll move for approval of the order for the annual rate schedule for 2022 for doll disposal service.
And I will second that motion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It is so ordered.
Thank you.
You are welcome. And now we move on to our discussion and information item, which is the annual report from Thompson Sanitary. Good morning. We all know you, but for the record and for the audience, if you'd introduce yourself, please. And
I'm Amy Thompson from Thompson Sanitary, and I'm the Public Information and Education Manager. I had Casey give you guys a handout, and I just noticed the very front page is actually last year's.
Oh.
I'm going to blame it on COVID.
Okay.
But I do have one for this year and I'll send it to Casey and he can forward it to you. But essentially it's approval of the Lincoln County Opportunity to Recycle Report. And so I just wanted, I don't know if we've ever shared this with you actually. And so this is a report that we file annually, but there are becoming more and more requirements from the state of the education that's required and the recycling services that are provided. So these meet all of the goals of the state, and for specifically, this has to be filed for the city of Newport because any town over 10,000 is required to do all these education requirements. So that front page or the second page would be a highlight of all the materials that we recycle and as well as the other items that we have at our recycling center at Thompson Sanitary. So not only curbside, but other things that we offer like paint and electronics, and we even do cooking oil and motor oil and batteries and all the things that are available to all residents, whether they have service or not. So, but what I have to do in this education and outreach tracking, this is the first year that they've had us do it this way or asked us to do it this way, and this will be required next year. I found out from DEQ that we were actually the only company in the state of Oregon that used their new tool. So we got some kudos, and they're using ours as an example for everyone else. So here are just, it goes through what is required of us and all the notices that we have to give customers, like their availability to recycle. And some of these handouts I've provided are like a service welcome. So when someone starts service with us, they get this in English and Spanish. And then also like contamination reduction strategies. So those are sometimes met through our social media posts and our newsletters. Some of those are included in here too, that are sent out quarterly to all customers electronically and mail, depending on their preference. So we also have an app. If you're not, if you haven't used that yet, I would encourage you to look that up. We have, especially this last month, increased quite a few customers that use that. We have about 700 customers that have downloaded our app and use it for schedule. And we also have a waste wizard, so you can look up any material and it'll tell you how to dispose of it or recycle it. And that is heavily used. What I love about that is it kind of goes away from the static recycling brochure that I cannot change. Some people still have the ones from like 2000 in their homes. So even though we send out new ones. So that's what I love about the Waste Wizard. And we actually do the database. So if anybody doesn't see something on there, they can suggest it. And I add it and tell them how to get rid of that material. So I just thought it was important that you guys knew that we were in compliance with the Opportunity to Recycle report. So
Excellent.
yeah.
Thank you. Now I noticed you brought along a very big can and a very small truck.
Yes,
Wanna
and
tell
well,
us
I'm not
about
quite
those?
there yet. So we have a couple more
okay.
slides. Sorry.
Oh,
That was
sorry.
just part of it. But
Sorry.
I have
Yeah.
like 3 more slides. It'll be quick. I wanted to show
no
you our
rush.
updated recycling center.
Uh-huh.
We added a lean-to over there just to keep a lot of the materials more recyclable actually, but also for the customers to use. Increased signage. It's been very popular. We did have it inside with a recycling attendant during the recycling crisis. And now we're doing this. We still get quite a bit of contamination, but it's open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4 or 5. So yeah, next slide. And then I just wanted to let you know some of the things we did in the community, even though it was COVID. We had a really great event put on the city in Newport, Touch a Truck at the PAC, and they're going to do that again. So we'll be participating in that. And that was really fun for our drivers, for us, kids. And so at that event, we will be giving these little guys away to
cool.
all of our customers who'd like them. You don't have to be young if you want one. And our drivers have been giving these out on the route to a lot of kids that are that come every week to watch them. So kind of
Cool.
fun. Yeah. And then we did National Night Out at the Armory, which is always actually a really great event for us because we see people that we don't typically see. It's a great section of the public that we don't always get in front of. And it's been really great. We have prizes, they get to play a game, all that kind of stuff. And those are two of our daughters working that event. Yeah, next slide. And then the last thing I wanted to mention before we tell you about this cart is I've been working with Paul Seitz, the county solid waste director. And I just want to tell you that he is doing, in my opinion, a really phenomenal job.
Nice to hear that.
So Paul and representatives from Thompson, Stahl, and North Lincoln meet weekly. And we go over education opportunities, our ideas, and he implements them. And we work with them and we make it really applicable. And it's just, we appreciate his willingness to do all these things and work with us and actually get our feedback on how it's going to work well. So these are just some of the things we're working on. We're going to do a countywide 4th of July cleanup. So it is a full scale cleanup, and we will be putting barrels on the beaches that the beach rangers will be dumping. And we've got it all, we're coordinating it all with the cities and counties. And so these beach barrels have gone out to mainly school kids, and those classes have been painting them. I have a picture there. We actually had our employees paint one, and that was fun. And so that will be the whole week of 4th of July, because we've had a lot of litter during that time. So he's done litter cleanup signs and kits. So these are all available to the cities and the county to put on trails, wherever, public parks. And they've gone up a lot of places. He also developed a compost brochure, which we've handed out a lot at our office, as well as our compost event, our free compost event that we did. And he did an Earth Day newsletter that had a lot of tips, and also been as well received. A cleanup brochure. So I know a lot of our deputies and officers deal with cleanup issues. And this is a start, basically, to encourage them to clean up their messes and how they go about it. So we're also going to be planning on doing a Follow the Waste tour in September 22. So not 22nd, but just this fall. So if you're interested, if anyone's interested in going on that, for city or county officials, I know Katie expressed interest in doing that. And then we're doing household hazardous waste event, which is Lincoln County in Toledo, July 30th. Paul's also done grocery store bag displays that have rotated around to grocery stores telling waste facts. And then him and I just finished a display at the city library. Yeah, it's been really wonderful working with him. So I thought it was important you guys know that. So
Really appreciate hearing that the partnership is working so well.
it is, yeah.
And boy, looks to me like a lot of creative energy and ideas, and
Yeah, and
getting the
just
public engaged.
the coastal character logo that we have on the top is something that we've come up with that we'd like to expand upon, basically encouraging not only visitors, but people that live here alike to treat the coast like it's, environment is important and their choices are important. And we're going to try to guide them in their choices. So it's kind of an overarching theme. So
Great.
this is our bear cart. So this is new. And
the bear, yeah.
so it dumps, it's gravity fed, right?
Yeah, it's the latch, so if you don't mind. So
Yes.
I'm Rob
Rihanna.
Thompson.
Hi, Rob.
Thompson
Yeah,
Sanitary,
welcome.
for the record. And the steel reinforced lid is designed to unlatch itself when it goes upside down. So it works inside of the existing automated system that we've invested in over the last 10 years. And it's really nice to be here today on a day where we're not talking about rate changes for us and just do informational. As the commissioners know, and Doug, you're intimately aware of this, we provide the same services to all of our customers and really try hard to have it be very consistent across both the city and the county. And so working backwards from the bear cart, this is called a Duralatch. It is not the best, but it is probably it's currently the best solution in our history for wind. It's to hold the lid down on windy days. So this is something we've decided to purchase. They're about $4 or $5 depending on the quantity. We'll install these for no charge, and there won't be any upcharge monthly for that Duralatch. All the carts we're going to buy in the future for both county and city residents will have this pre-installed. So that's just embedded in our annual costs of purchasing vessels that are required to provide this service. And the last item I would mention, the city of Newport at their rate hearing asked us questions about glass collection en route at the curb. And it's not the first time we've had that request. We are working through those numbers again to look at the type of vessel that would be most appropriate and the type of truck to provide that collection. Everything from a pickup truck and a burlap sack all the way up to a fully automated full-size truck and roll cart with lid, the whole spectrum there. So with the idea that we provide consistent services across both jurisdictions, you may stay tuned for information that you didn't ask for just because the city asked for it. And then at that juncture, you would be welcome to take action or not based on that information. So those are some of the things that are in the works.
Question?
Yeah.
Three, two, one. Okay.
The bear cart, will that be provided at customers' request? And is there any additional monthly fee?
Excellent question. And so a little backup on the bear cart, we got requests about it from the Lincoln County School District to start with near 7th Street by the middle school. And we recognize that we only provide services at a rate that is approved by the elected officials. Very little, run through that so people understand that. So we were unable to provide it right away because we didn't have a rate established. We didn't have the authorization for that service. And we had a heck of a time sourcing them during COVID and getting them on site. This is one of 25 of this size. And we have 25 of the larger size, and it's $9.80 additional per month for weekly service of your trash. Okay. So there's other alternatives to the $9.80, storing the material inside, putting it out only the morning of. So we could work through all those other options.
And ODFW has done a lot of reach out to certain neighborhoods that were affected by bears last. And so we expect that we'll be getting some people that are interested in this when the time comes, but they're really meant to be temporary. They're not meant to keep all year long. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of things about bears that I don't know about that. There's a whole study, and this is not the end solution, right? So we need to take the advice of our folks that are knowledgeable about bear activities and how to really treat the issue.
Great.
So temporary solution at an optional price, not required. Incidentally, unfortunately, we do not any of these in service today.
And we've put out that no one, but I expect when the bears start coming around that we'll be getting calls.
Okay, great. Commissioner Hunt, any questions for the Thompsons or comments?
I have a question, but I also have a comment first. I'd just like to acknowledge the leadership that the Thompsons have shown as far as looking at ways to, address issues that come up with the handling of the citizens' trash. I think they've shown some leadership, and I think it's been recognized by the state. So congratulations on that. I do have a question, and it may be a little bit out in right field, but I understand the Coffin Butte landfill is either near capacity or looking to expand. Can you comment on that?
I have a little bit of information just from talking to Republic. So they own land. Currently where they're at is where there's a quarry, right? And the quarry is not being excavated. So as the process, they excavate and then the landfill goes into those excavated areas. Well, they're going faster than what they are excavating, I guess and so they have another piece of land that they own, that they just want to open up that cell to temporarily fill the need until the excavation is done and they can go back to the other cell. Saying that, we were told maybe 10 years ago that Coffin Butte had 50 years left in it, but our recent conversations are more like 20. So we really don't know the future beyond that, where things will go. But does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. And I guess I'll echo what you said. I remember as a commissioner, not that long ago, talking about the fact that, the efforts of recycling were certainly an important part of handling of our citizens' trash, and that the Coffin Butte landfill had a limited life. But again, as you indicated, it was expected to be in the neighborhood of 50 years. So the fact that we're now looking at, if I heard you correctly, 20 to 25 years, I think that's a message to everyone that the more we recycle and the more we, as consumers, purchase packaging that has less volume and less impact on our landfill, the better, because ultimately it's going to cost us more when we have to start transporting that trash to a more distant landfill. And at one time it was 50 years away. Now it looks like it's 25 or less. So I think is an important issue that we need to recognize and address.
Yeah, I think reduction is the first thing that people need to focus on. And that's one of the reasons I'm really passionate about educating our youth. They're our future customers. They have a lot of influence at home. And most people don't know that the average American produces 4.5 pounds of trash a day.
Wow.
So, I mean, you multiply that, it's so many tons, you can't comprehend it. So I think that's the biggest message, that it's just really easy when you put your stuff out at the curb and it goes away. We make it really hard. If it was all in your front yard, you might notice it. So, yeah. Anyway.
Oh, well said. Good report. Good information. Thank you.
Yeah, very much appreciate the report. Thank you. Now we're at the time in the agenda set aside for commissioner reports. Commissioner Hunt, do you have anything today?
Nothing today. Thank you.
I don't either. So now we move on to public comment. If there is anybody online via Zoom and you would like to offer up to 3 minutes of public comment, then feel free to use the raise hand function. And all right, we're not seeing anybody, and nobody in the room signed up, just us bureaucrats, civil servants, no members of the higher station of general public. So we don't have an executive session. So I'll let everybody know that next Monday, June 6th, 9 a.m., we are having our office staff meeting. 1:30 p.m., the board will be participating in a ARPA workshop to consider the proposals for utilization of federal ARPA funds by county departments and agencies. And next Wednesday morning, the 8th, 10 a.m., we'll be right back here and online as well.
And Claire,
Mr. Miller?
we did not receive any written constituent input as well this week.
All right. With that, then, we will stand in adjournment. Thank you.
Go.